Hello lovely viewers, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful News official YouTube channel, your top destination for the most explosive CBS soap updates. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and give this video a huge thumbs up. The baptism of truth had been long overdue in Los Angeles, but when it arrived, it didn't come in the form of light or water. It came as a chilling discovery in a hospital room, where hope hung by a thread and a father's scream pierced the sterile air. "She's poisoning my son." The words echoed down the corridors of the hospital as Bill Spencer, broken and breathless, clutched the bedside of his ailing son, Liam Spencer. Watching as color drained from his face, confusion clouded his mind, and seizures threatened to take him away. Bill had tried everything. Specialists, therapists, private clinics. But nothing explained Liam's sudden decline. Until that fateful call, Dr. Colin Armstrong, a diagnostician and medical investigator, arrived at Spencer's desperate plea, and what he uncovered was far more insidious than any medical report had prepared them for. It wasn't illness. It wasn't stress. It wasn't trauma. It was poison. And it led straight to one woman, Dr. Grace Buckingham. Folded hands, a father's plea as the baptism of illusion begins. The story began not in fire and fury, but with Bill Spencer's trembling voice over the phone. The once fearless media tycoon, now a terrified father, was watching his son waste away in front of him. Liam had been experiencing bizarre symptoms: dizziness, paranoia, intense fatigue, and blackouts. Doctors blamed lingering effects of his brain trauma. Some suspected emotional burnout. But Bill knew better. His instincts screamed that something wasn't right. With every passing day, Liam's condition worsened. He was no longer the man Hope loved. He forgot conversations, slurred his speech, and sometimes didn't recognize Steffi or Kelly. Hope had broken down at his bedside, begging him to wake up. Brooke and Ridge were even drawn into the mystery. Why was Liam slipping away when all tests showed nothing wrong? That's when Bill called Dr. Armstrong, a physician known for unraveling medical puzzles and diagnosing the undiagnosable. The baptism of illusion was ending, and the cruel truth was about to rise from the ashes. DNA. Dr. Armstrong's alarming discovery: there are toxins in his blood. Upon arriving, Dr. Armstrong reviewed Liam's medical history, compared blood samples, and personally monitored his vitals for over 48 hours. He was calm, focused, and methodical, but his expression changed the moment he received the latest lab results. His hands trembled. His breath caught. "There are foreign agents in his bloodstream," he told Bill in a whisper. "Not just one, several. Someone is introducing these into his system regularly. Someone, close." Bill went cold. "What are you saying?" he demanded. Dr. Armstrong met his eyes. "Someone is poisoning your son." At that moment, Bill's world spun off its axis. Memories flooded back: Grace Buckingham, the polished and persuasive doctor who had insisted on personally overseeing Liam's care. She had come highly recommended by Thomas and had been spending time around Liam more than anyone else. She'd even dismissed Bridget's concerns when they clashed at the hospital. But why would Grace do such a thing? The answer would come in waves, one more chilling than the last. Broken heart encouraging words turned to dangerous manipulation. When Grace first stepped in to care for Liam, she had been the picture of compassion. She offered encouraging words to Hope, comforted Steffi, and assured Bill that Liam would pull through. "He's strong," she said. "But he needs isolation, no stress, and total trust in his physician." At the time, her words had soothed them all. But what they didn't realize was that Grace was slowly isolating Liam, limiting access, manipulating Hope into staying away, and even convincing Steffi not to bring Kelly by. Grace insisted that any outside influence could trigger regression. In truth, she was ensuring there were no witnesses. It was Bridget Forrester who first raised a red flag. After briefly reviewing Liam's toxicology reports, she noticed inconsistencies, levels of serotonin and trace heavy metals that made no clinical sense. She had confronted Grace, but Grace gaslighted her in front of the board. "Are you implying I'd harm a patient?" "That's slander, Dr. Forrester. the board dropped it. But Bridget kept digging. Fire, angry threats, and a hidden agenda exposed. Dr. Armstrong didn't stop at the lab. He began questioning the staff, reviewing camera footage, and tracking every medication administered to Liam. That's when he noticed something Grace had hidden, a private medication she claimed was for sleep regulation, but it had never been logged with the hospital pharmacy. Upon testing it, Armstrong discovered the truth. It contained trace amounts of thallium, a highly toxic substance, once used in rat poison and now nearly impossible to trace when administered in microdoses. He confronted Grace privately. What followed was the most bone-chilling confrontation in B&B history. "You have no idea what you've just unleashed," Grace hissed. "You think you're the hero? You're playing with forces you can't control." But Armstrong stood firm. "You are poisoning Liam Spencer. And I will expose you." Grace's threats escalated. She warned Armstrong that if he went public, more than just Liam would suffer. "I have leverage on more than one Forrester," she sneered. Drop of blood, Hope's breakdown, Steffi's fury, and Bill's rage. When Armstrong told Bill the full truth, Bill's face twisted into a fury no one had seen in years. His voice shook the walls. "She is poisoning my son. And you let her in this hospital? She's a murderer in a lab coat." Hope, who had arrived moments later, collapsed into tears. "No, no, no, this can't be true. Liam, oh my God, Liam." Steffi was more violent in her reaction, storming into Grace's office and slapping her across the face. "You touched my daughter's father. You tried to destroy a family. You will rot for this." Security was called as Grace, smug despite it all, warned them all again, "You think this ends with me? You have no idea who else is involved." A bombshell motive revealed, Grace wasn't acting alone. Just when things couldn't get worse, Dr. Armstrong uncovered one final layer of this conspiracy. Grace had been acting on orders from someone else. Someone paying her handsomely. Someone with access to Forrester accounts. The trail led to a burner account funded by a mysterious shell company tied to Thomas Forrester. That's when Ridge stepped in. "You tell me right now," Ridge demanded, "is my son behind this?" Dr. Armstrong paused. "We don't have proof yet. But I have no doubt, Grace was working with someone with a personal vendetta. Someone with access. And someone who knew exactly what Liam meant to Hope." Ridge turned white. Waterway baptism of fire, a family war erupts. The news tore through the families like wildfire. Brooke was beside herself, shielding Hope while pressing Ridge for answers. Hope threatened to have Thomas arrested. Bridget and Armstrong worked around the clock to reverse the effects of the poisoning. Liam, slowly regaining consciousness, cried when he realized what had happened. "I trusted her. I thought I was just dying. But it was her all along." The baptism that was supposed to heal ended in angry threats, police intervention, and a media circus outside the hospital. Grace was taken into custody, smirking even in handcuffs. "You think this is the end? You haven't seen anything yet." And behind the scenes, one man watched it all from a hotel room, Deacon Sharp, holding a file marked with Grace's name and a list of names, one of which read, Sheila Carter. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for the next 2 weeks, July 14th to July 25th, reveal that Steffi Forrester and Hope Logan will panic over missing Liam Spencer while Luna Nozawa wakes up to Lee Finnegan's shocker. During the week of July 14th to 18th, there'll be more grief and regrets over Luna's grim fate. Sheila Sharp and John Finnegan will both wish Luna could have turned her life around instead of having it cut short. However, there's more to the story since Lee's been making cryptic comments and showing support for Luna despite her mistakes. Because of Lee's cunning, it is safe to assume that Luna is still alive and hiding. Other B&B spoilers say Grace Buckingham will perform another urgent surgery since Liam will need one. Finn and Bridget Forrester will spend some time discussing Liam's strength and bravery despite everything he's been up against. After Liam comes out of his procedure alive, Bill's going to do something shocking. This may relate to Liam's inoperable brain tumor if Bill gets updates and refuses to let it end Liam's life. Whatever the case, Bill will steal Liam from the hospital while he's still unconscious, so Hope and Steffi may panic when they see that Liam's gone. Will Steffi and Hope eventually realize that Bill is to blame for this? As for Ridge Forrester, he'll be pleased when Taylor Hayes and Brooke Logan present a united front. Liam's ordeal will bring Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor together in support of him. Since Ridge has agreed to Taylor's wedding idea, they may do some planning while Brooke focuses on Nick Marone. This will be Nick's chance to shine and pull Brooke closer through a visit to Forrester Creations. The week of July 21st to 25th could be when Nick and Brooke will nail down some Italy plans. It looks like Nick will pressure Brooke to come with him and have the most romantic adventure possible. There may be some Forrester business to take care of in Naples and Capri soon, so that could make it easier for Brooke to get on board. Nick and Brooke's upcoming trip together won't go over well with Ridge since his jealousy's going to flare. That Italy trip will kick off before the month's over, but let's get back to the Liam action first. Bill might resolve to put Liam in some sort of experimental treatment, but he may face more backlash from Hope and Steffi once he takes charge of the situation. Finally, fans may see a glimpse of Luna recovering somewhere private in the coming weeks. At some point, Luna will awaken and get a shock when Lee admits she faked her death. Lee may explain how she's giving Luna another chance to avoid prison and keeping her away from Poppy Nozawa, who ruined Luna's life from Lee's perspective. Bless its heart, the Bold and the Beautiful loves nothing more than reheating and serving leftovers, and based on what's been going down the last few weeks, we're about to tuck into a massive platter of M. If you like the dish in question, great, you're sure to eat it up. If not, better luck next time. We're talking, of course, about the fact that the soap has set up a redo of the Hope Liam Steffi love triangle, this time inadvertently cooked up by Luna. If Steffi said it once, she said it a dozen times, Liam saved us, Hope. He saved us from Luna. Cue the awakened feelings, and boom, the three of them will be circling each other like it's 2010 all over again. How can they not? Both Steffi and Hope will have to realize that the next second chance that their marriages to Liam would ordinarily get, based on Bold and Beautiful patterns, nearly got taken away by trigger-happy Luna this time around. We have the added complications of Hope's engagement to Carter, Steffi's unbreakable bond with Finn and Liam's supposedly inoperable brain tumor. But we all know that with this show, nothing beats the opportunity to replay the same story for the dozenth time. Just ask Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor. Sorry, Bold and Beautiful, but we're not buying what you're trying to sell us, and we don't mean the products featured in advertisements between scenes. No, we mean Luna's supposed death. Much as we'd love to believe that her reign of terror is at long last over, we're pretty sure that Luna is as dead as was Taylor or Sheila or any of the other zombies wandering around Los Angeles. Sure, today's episode had Lee declaring that Finn's daughter died on the operating table. But wasn't it also Lee who spirited away Finn and let everyone, including Steffi, believe he died after being shot by his maniacal mom, Sheila? Lee believed herself to be acting in Finn's best interest, which made sense from a twisted sort of soap opera logic point of view. And let's not disregard the fact that Catherine Kelly Lang recently posted a photo which accidentally seemed to reveal that both Liam and Luna will still be on screen come September despite having both been handed apparent death sentences. You ask, but why would Lee lie to everyone about Luna's death? The answer to this, too, requires the application of soap opera logic. In the moments after Luna's surgery, Lee and fellow Doc Bridget had just discussed the fact that they'd saved Luna's life, but she would likely wind up being sent back to prison. Lee looked sadly down at Luna, saying, "You don't deserve this, Luna." As Bridget left the room, Lee said, "We'll be keeping a close eye on her." A few moments later, Lee told those gathered in the waiting area, including a newly arrived Poppy, that Luna was dead. Poppy's reaction? Good. I'm glad Luna's dead. Everyone, including Lee, looked stunned by Poppy's shocking words. But in that moment, it became clear, Lee will be keeping Luna safe from prosecution out of a misguided belief that Poppy is responsible for everything that's gone wrong in the girl's life. Rather than let Luna pay for her crimes, Lee will do exactly what Bill did only a few short months ago. In that case, everyone believed that the killer of Tom and Hollis was still behind bars when instead, she was living it up at the gazillionaire's mansion. This time, Luna will likely be kept in the same hotel/hospital room Lee used when she kept Finn from Steffi. Far-fetched? You bet. And yet on a show which loves nothing more than to repeat past plot points, having Lee decide to keep Luna under lock and key makes as much sense as Bill having the killer living under his roof did. Warning, the following contains major spoilers for the rest of the week on The Bold and the Beautiful, and beyond, even. If you'd rather watch in real time and be surprised, may we offer you this photo gallery of the soap's all-time greatest characters as a lovely parting gift? Still with us? Okay. Well, apparently Catherine Kelly Lang, the OG who plays Brooke, shared what seemed like a perfectly harmless social media post, a picture of a stack of her scripts for September. Only the one on top listed the characters featured in that episode. Among them? Both Liam and Luna, despite a spoiler released by Bold and Beautiful that states very clearly that someone doesn't survive surgery, it looks like both shooters pull through. Perhaps the show is playing tricks on us, and although Liam or Luna dies on the operating table, they are subsequently revived. Any way you slice it, the soap has its work cut out for it in the weeks ahead. Even if that bullet to the chest doesn't take down Liam, he's still facing an inoperable brain tumor. As for Luna, she murdered 2 people, tried to kill Steffi and shot both her grandmother and Liam. Guess there's only one way to keep that character on the canvas: she has to become a mild-mannered, pizza-slinging waitress like Sheila. As the emotional tremors of Luna Nozawa's supposed death reverberate across Los Angeles, The Bold and the Beautiful gears up for 2 weeks of gripping fallout, hidden truths, and explosive returns. The July 14th to 18th stretch opens in mourning, with Steffi Forrester and Hope Logan reeling from the news of Liam Spencer's disappearance and the trauma surrounding Luna's tragic fate. But under the veil of grief lies a tangled web of deception and emotional upheaval that threatens to engulf the entire Forrester clan. Behind closed doors, Dr. Lee Finnegan harbors a jaw-dropping secret: Luna isn't dead. Though Lee publicly announced Luna's demise after her surgery, her cryptic behavior and sudden sympathy for Luna hint otherwise. Viewers may recall Lee once faked her own son Finn's death and kept him hidden for months. Now, she seems to be following that same dark pattern. Rather than allow her niece to face the consequences of her violent meltdown, Lee appears to be shielding her from the law, and from Poppy Nozawa, whom she blames for Luna's instability. During these pivotal episodes, Sheila Carter and Finn mourn Luna, regretting that her life spiraled out of control so fast. Still, there's a sense that Luna's story isn't over. Lee's secret stash of comments and deflections raise suspicion, and sharp-eyed fans may spot signs that Luna is recovering somewhere off the grid. When Luna eventually wakes up, she'll be stunned to hear Lee faked her death to give her a new shot at life, one free from her past and her mother's shadow. Meanwhile, Grace Buckingham will be pulled back into action with an urgent operation, this time to save Liam, who continues battling his grim prognosis. With an inoperable brain tumor and fresh bullet wounds, Liam becomes the center of a different kind of war, one between family members trying to make decisions about his future. In a jaw-dropping twist, Bill Spencer kidnaps an unconscious Liam from the hospital, likely in a desperate attempt to seek experimental treatment. Steffi and Hope panic, discovering Liam has vanished. Naturally, suspicions turn to Bill, and when the truth surfaces, both women unleash their fury. Bill's rogue heroism sparks further chaos as he defies doctors, family, and even common sense to save his son. Elsewhere, Ridge Forrester grows increasingly pleased as Taylor Hayes and Brooke Logan present a surprising show of unity. Liam's crisis serves as an unlikely bonding force, encouraging the women to set aside their rivalry. Taylor's wedding proposal inches forward, while Brooke turns her attention to Nick Marone. A nostalgic spark reignites as Nick invites Brooke to Italy for a Forrester business trip, and possibly more. As they plan for Naples and Capri, Ridge's jealousy ignites, setting the stage for an emotional showdown. As the week of July 21st to 25th arrives, the action ramps up. Nick and Brooke's romantic plans solidify while Ridge tries to mask his rising fury. Meanwhile, Luna's recovery continues in secret under Lee's care. When Luna opens her eyes and learns she was declared dead, her world turns upside down. Lee spins it as a gift, a chance to rewrite her destiny, far from prosecution and her toxic upbringing. but whether Luna agrees remains to be seen. Parallel to Luna's covert healing, the Hope Liam-Steffi triangle reignites, echoing classic B&B rhythms. Steffi can't stop praising Liam's heroics. Hope, engaged to Carter, finds herself nostalgic and conflicted. Both women must confront the uncomfortable truth: their chance at a second shot with Liam nearly died with him. Will the threat of loss push them back into his orbit? Yet looming over everything is the undeniable fact that Luna is no innocent. Her actions nearly killed Steffi, wounded both Liam and her grandmother, and shattered lives. Keeping her alive requires enormous narrative gymnastics. And as fans saw with Bill hiding the real killer months ago, B&B isn't above resurrecting the unredeemable. Ultimately, these 2 weeks promise baptisms of blood and redemption. Characters who believed they buried loved ones will face ghostly returns. Angry threats will be hurled between former allies. Encouraging words may mask dark agendas. And as Leigh plays God with Luna's life, the question becomes, can rebirth come from lies, or is this just another powder keg waiting to explode?